Welcome to another episode of the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock potentials and guide them to succeed. Today, I have another amazing individual, and this person, I was so honored to share the same virtual stage as him at a leadership conference just a few weeks ago. Once I heard him speak, he was absolutely stunning because he was so engaging, so high energy, and I just had to reach out. And sure enough, after I got to know him a bit more, I was blown away because he has so much great innovation, so creative. He was so engaging. It was so much fun just talking to him. But he also added one magic word, and that magic word was improv. Now, I absolutely love watching improv. I love listening to improv. I love seeing how people act in improv, and it was just so amazing. But he was able to take improv and implement it in people's lives, implement it into businesses, corporations, and companies to boost up morale, boost up relationship, boost up collaboration efforts, and also increase your creativity and innovation. And I thought that was absolutely amazing. And he's gotten so many great reviews, so many great feedback from companies like Sony and Microsoft and Hilton, places that he's been able to train at and also help those leaders become better leaders and their employees to be better engaged in their work and also in their company as well. So it was a lot of fun talking to him, and I was just so excited to have him on my show today. So please welcome a leadership coach, a fearless speaker, a international sales expert, and also an amazing speaking coach and speaker as well. So please welcome Mr. Chris Nielson.
Thank you so much for that. And I love your energy. You're off the charts, and I do love energy. Mm-hmm. And sometimes if we're too big, we can scare people away. But for me, I found that improv has made such a powerful difference in my life. And I get to share it with the recipe that leads to better creativity and increased connection to other people in your life, better collaboration. All those things lead to better profits, engagement, innovation, retention of best people. So it's a phenomenal recipe to play with. And I'm so happy to be here with you and look forward to this improv we're doing here. Questions are improv. Life is improv.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much for being here and sharing some of these stories that you can be sharing with us. So absolutely. Tell me, currently, what are you passionate in, and how did you get to becoming this improv expert?
There's so many people that maybe know more about improv than I do, but I have a unique mix in it. I've had 30 years of sales experience and business experience and entrepreneurial experience. So I'm in my own business. Improv just brought more joy to my life, and I realized it made me a better human being. And the recipe I share with people makes them better human beings, and in fact, make organizations more fun to be in, more playful, more likely to create innovation in them. And I say, one of the things I say this, are you a concrete person or organization, or are you a net person or organization? Meaning, do you blame people when they get things wrong? Do they feel uncomfortable when they get it wrong? Or do you catch them when they fail or take risks, and they can climb up that ladder and do the trapeze of whatever risk they're taking, do the flip, land in your net again, and do it again? So does your business create an innovative atmosphere? Does your business create a safe atmosphere? And where that came from a lot was Google's Project Aristotle, when they talked about the number one factor in high-performing teams was psychological safety. And I just add to that, how are you creating a safe environment for your people to play in?
Very, very cool. Now, when it comes to you talking to other companies and businesses, because you work with some very, very big names like Sony, Hilton, and also Microsoft, when you first approach them and go, yeah, I'm going to bring improv into the company, did they kind of look at you funny, or did they go, oh yeah, that's perfect, that's exactly what we need?
Rarely is it exactly what we need, because what I think is most people are afraid of improv. Mm-hmm. And unless some of them are really excited about it, if they've experienced personally and really enjoy it, I think most people are afraid. I got to talk about what the benefits are usually for them to bring it in. And oftentimes I want to bring it in even more than I brought it in. I brought it in for sales trainings, customer service trainings, innovative trainings, or even just team building, simply things, or communication trainings, presentation trainings, all those different things. I brought it into those type of organizations. And what I want is, my goal actually is infuse it in their culture, because it leads to amazing things.
what would you say is a myth or a limiting belief about improv that people would have?
What is a myth or limiting belief? I think what people are filled with myths and limiting beliefs. And one of them, one of the principles, and I don't know if you were at my presentation, but my improv teacher, Jackie Lowell, shared the secret to success in improv in life. And she said it was to dare to suck. And when she said it, I said, no, thank you. And I've done a presentation, a keynote called Dare to Suck, in front of 85 CEOs, or roughly that number. And I danced into the song Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling. And I asked them all to get up and dance with me. And one got up with about 30 seconds left and another got up with 5 seconds left. And I got to the bottom and put on the stage in the huge letters, Dare to Suck. What's the title of this talk again? And why didn't you get up? Mm-hmm. And the big thing I know is people know intellectually that failing leads to success, but they don't own it. So I think that, and that was including in myself when I joined improv about 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. I think we put too much, if we fail, here's the big key. When we fail, we think we are the failure. When we're wrong, we think we are wrong. And that was one of the big keys for me. When I cut that program and created a new program where failure is just feedback, I got to do so many things and take so many more risks. So I think when people think of improv, it's just a fun game. The biggest myth is they think it's just fun and games. But the principles are a playful way to live life that builds connection between the people in there, that builds collaboration, that builds and leads to incredible creativity. So I think the biggest myth around it is just about having fun, right? There's no real value to it, but there's lots of Fortune 100 companies that are involving improv in what they do on a regular basis.
Now, when it comes to improv and you're doing this with your friends and colleagues and whatnot, do you go into a scenario or a question thinking, okay, I'm going to come up with something that's going to stump this person or see if this person's going to struggle with this scenario or whatnot? Or do you go with the approach of trying to stretch their imagination?
I definitely don't go into how can I stump this person. Mm-hmm. One of the big principles of improv, besides daring to suck, in creating that safe place. So we've created a safe net. Now we're daring to suck. So that's how you lead to innovation. Without that, you can't lead to innovation. One of the other big principles I share that came out of improv that changed my life again too, was make your people look great. Make your people look great. I'm not looking to put someone on the spot and make them look bad. With what I do is I want to create a safe place for people to take risks. I want to create companies and organizations or help them bring into their organization a safe place for their people to take risks. Because we both know that innovation is in the future. If in one of my talks is innovate or die. And companies are going to die. Ideas are going to die. Mm-hmm. But if you create a playful platform for people to constantly look out for each other, you created an amazing place. So I'm not putting people on the spot. I'm setting up people to succeed. That's what I love to do now. And I wasn't always that way.
Now, there's a lot of scenarios when you get into a room and there's people who goes, I'm too shy. I'm an introvert. I don't want to do any of this stuff. Or they're just scared. So how do you pull that imagination out of them? How do you pull that improvisational mindset out of them so that they're comfortable with doing stuff that's completely out of their comfort zone?
I love that you said that too. Some people look at me and I don't know what you are, but I'm not naturally outgoing. If I'm at a party, I'm not saying, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? I'm probably naturally introverted. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't stop me. Improv has created so the basic principle of improv is to say yes and add something to it. I'm looking for ways to say yes. I'm looking to make people look great. So I create a safe place for them to do that. And the safe place might be at this time that they don't take a big risk. I let them take a small risk, whatever risk that they're able to. In many of the games, I said that's just volunteer games. You don't have to participate. Just watch the other people and then just notice the thought you're saying in your head. What are you saying to yourself that is stopping you from getting up and participating? Because I know what mine were, and there were many of them. Mm-hmm. I was programmed as a kid. I say, never let them see you sweat. I was programmed by a TV commercial, and I sweat a lot. And so I thought I was defective. Mm-hmm. And what I want you to know out there is I've worked with thousands of people, and you all have infinite creativity within you. And there's power within everyone. I don't see myself as above anyone or below anyone in terms of beingness. And so I constantly look to make it safe. In the games where everyone's playing, I say you can always say pass. And don't be hard on yourself for saying that. I want you to listen to that voice in your head. And if it's negative, and most people's voices are negative, I want you to turn around and make it something positive. Mm-hmm. If I had a magic wand, that's what I'd have everyone do. Their self-love and compassion would go through the roof, and it would boost their ability to dare to suck. And it boosts their ability to support other human beings out there and support themselves and see failure as I'm not the failure, but failure is just feedback on how to get better. That's what I would love to do. And so I create it as safe as possible. And I don't put people in situations where they feel really uncomfortable, but I do create the net so they can get up on that trapeze of life and do a trick and they go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. And they might stick it, or they may land in the net and go, oh, that net isn't so bad. Mm-hmm. People actually applauded me for taking a risk and jumping out of my comfort zone. So how do you create that environment is so positive. So I love your question.
Awesome. Yeah. Have you ever faced a scenario where you personally felt like, okay, this is too hard, this is too risky, and then in your mind you instantly went into game mode? How did you apply this into a game situation and then attack it like a game so that you can overcome that risk? Have you done that before?
I don't know if that quite fit. Let me share one that pops up, the memory that pops up. And is it Fong? Is that how you pronounce Fong? Thank you, Fong. So I did one stand-up comedy routine and I was okay. And I prepared a lot for it, but I was okay. And I didn't want to dare to suck. When Jackie Lowell shared the idea of dare to suck, I said, no, thank you. I'm here to succeed. I'm here to be great, because I felt like I would be the failure and I couldn't handle another big failure. Mm-hmm. That's how I was in life. But then I was invited to do stand-up comedy again, like a year later. And I hadn't prepared at all. And I looked at myself in the mirror and said, are you prepared to actually dare to suck in front of a bunch of people? And the voice was, yeah, I think I can handle it now. And at that moment, so I could handle it. I went up there and I gamified, go have fun, be yourself, gamified it in that way. And just say yes and to this opportunity. I went out there, and afterwards, the guy put his hand on my shoulder and said, hey, don't give up on this. I had bombed. I'd really bombed, but I was finally good enough and nice enough in here that I was good. But I created a safety net in my head so that I was no longer beating myself up about it. And now it became fun to get out there and take risks.
Because that's one of the toughest things that people go through when they face that when they face that failure the first time, and they're like, okay, I'm never doing that again, or there's no way in hell I'm ever going to go up on stage. So between that first time that you've done it to the second time, what did you do to get yourself going to the second time and then the third time?
Great question. And what I'll go back in time. So the miserable, I don't know if I'd ever speak again, because I had such a miserable moment in middle school. I was to give a speech. Remember, I was programmed by the TV commercial, never let them see you sweat, and I sweat a lot. And the good thing is no sports coach ever said, hey, Chris, don't sweat out there. They said, go, play as hard as you can. Yeah, they were into that. But people that I guarded would go, I don't want to guard Chris, he sweats a lot. But this speech, I stood up, 8th grade, and I was shaking so much. And all of a sudden, just from the top of my head, it felt like it just poured rain. My sweat streamed down my face like it's never streamed down before. My face went up here red. And what I get is that was like seared into me, and it created a ghost in my life. I'm here, Chris, and you're going to sweat like you did before. They're going to reject you. You're going to fail, and they're going to know the really defective you. And so that lived in me. And that's why I did crazy things so people wouldn't see me sweat. I would buy 2 shirts exactly the same. I actually bought women's panty liners and put them in here. And the sad thing when I did it, after a while, Panty Liner Island, Lake of Sweat. Both arms. I give the rest of the speech like this. And so I say, out there, if you're struggling, I've really struggled. Mm-hmm. But now speaking is a ton of fun for me. Doing improv and things that are actually taking risks has become fun because of these multiple programs that I've worked on. One that I said earlier, when I fail, I felt like I was a failure. If I sucked, I would suck. That I've changed that program into failure is just feedback. And one of the books that helped me was the book Mindset by Carol Dweck. DWECK, a Stanford professor. One mindset is the fixed mindset. Your talents and abilities are fixed in stone. The other mindset is your talents and abilities can always be grown. It's the growth mindset. And when you fail, it's just feedback. This one, fail, you are the failure. I started to choose, this one was super strong in me, and I started to choose this one more. The other, and I say that helped, and what I got is this. I like to be wrong now is a program I built into me. And when people go, I don't believe you, Chris, I wouldn't have believed me too. You should be skeptical if you're just listening to this. I used to hate to be wrong because again, if I was wrong out here, I was wrong in here. No longer is that the case. I love tapping into the wisdom of the room that's out there. Those things, that thing is like taking a 200-pound backpack off my back that I don't need to wear anymore. And so I feel so much lighter going into a room, so much more powerful in that way. Mm-hmm. And those combined programs, being nice to myself, has made it fun to get out there, take risks, and fail. So that's a little bit of the process that's led to that. And improv, being around a group of people that said yes and. We paid attention to each other. We were present. We made each other look great. We created a safe environment for us to dare to suck. We actually celebrated failure at times. My girlfriend came up with the phrase, arugula. When you fail, say arugula and get excited about it. So those are just some of the factors that went into that.
Now, you've already gone through this yourself, becoming a dynamic speaker. There's lots of people out there who are still too afraid to take that first step. They know the benefits of being able to communicate effectively. They know the benefits of being able to speak effectively, but they just can't take that step. So what would you say is the very first step? What is something they could take home right now and apply it to their everyday life so they can go through that process of becoming comfortable speaking in front of you?
Listen to podcasts like yours. Get around people like you and me that are net people and start moving away from the concrete people in your life. So look at, maybe even rate them. How concrete are they? How net are they? So choose to be around people that are more supportive. And then people that encourage your risks and get excited about your successes and then lift you up on all your failures. And one of the things I share is even just to create a ritual. And the Sarah Blakely, are you familiar with Sarah Blakely, Fong?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay, she was the founder of Spanx. I think she's a billionaire from that. And she attributes this one ritual to her big success. And that ritual was around the dining room table. Her dad would have her and her brother share their best failures. And so they were encouraged to fail because failure leads to success. And so create a ritual in your life. One, I would get around great net people that support you. Mm-hmm. Join net masterminds, organizations, find coaches, get a partner to play with in these areas, get around those people. And then two, create a ritual where failure doesn't become bad anymore. Failure actually leads to great success. My hero, Michael Jordan, I failed over and over again. That's why I succeed. Yeah. You know, all these different people out there. How can you make yourself more comfortable with being uncomfortable?
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very good quote. And yeah, Michael Jordan, absolutely a beast when he's out there, and he's failed many, many times. I would have to also say that I need to give you an award right now for being the very first person I've ever interviewed that was able to cover every single space in this screen area and 3D too.
Well, and normally I'm sitting on my stool now. Normally I'm like this.
Because I think every single spot has been touched somehow by you so far. So, and that's going to lead me to my next question. Expressions, body language, gestures, and all that kind of stuff. Lots of people who go up and speak for the first time, they're very stationary. They're very emotionless because they're trying to remember what they're trying to say. They're trying to remember every single point that they want to get out, and they lose track of that engagement, that gesture, the audience kind of connection. So what would you recommend people do to exercise that part of their brain so that they're willing to, like, you know, use their arms more and be a little bit more energetic when it comes to speaking?
I love that you say that. And I love functional gestures. Mm-hmm. Like if you want to use the tools like a hammer, you actually play out the hammer. One of the great ones on TV is Stephen Colbert. You can see him on what is it? The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He uses gestures all the time, like a screwdriver as one of your tools. It's like throwing a pass to someone. Like when I said, when you fail out here, it makes you the failure in here. All these gestures, you might have natural gestures, but what I get for someone beginning, I struggle in the beginning. It'd be like saying to me as a golfer, I want you to keep your elbow in, your head down, your butt out a little bit. Don't go too far back. Don't go beyond your leg. When you tell too many things, there's no way you can do it. So work on like one or two things at a time and play with that and build on that. One or two things at a time. And like, I'm a fan of Toastmasters. I belong to Toastmaster clubs. It's a speaking and leadership nonprofit. I go there, practice your speaking skills, and do practice gestures and be present with the gestures. Like my improv teacher said, when you grab a glass of water, notice how it feels in your hand. If you open a beer, what's the sound effects? You know, how it is drinking, notice those different things that when you do those, the functional gestures can make a real difference. I oftentimes threw the dart next to the bullseye. You know, I play with all kinds of different areas. And I'll just add this to that. Be playful. I say playfulness erases fear because it brings you in the present moment. Be playful and don't be too hard on yourself. Take up notes, tell stories you've always told, so then you can get more in touch with your audience. But I love your question is a great question.
Very, very powerful stuff. Because yeah, like when the very first thing I noticed about you speaking is you cover the whole ground. And I can only imagine if I was able to see you speak on stage, because I'm assuming you're going to take up the entire stage, even off stage and up the ramps too.
Oh yeah. So I love to go out into the audience, especially unless my audience is great, you know, in bringing the energy. If I need to go into the energy, like one of the things I had the audience do in person is I give them, if I have the chance, if I'm leading the group, foam balls. And if they don't like something I said, they can whip it at me. So I'm catching them if I see it. But I remember one time I was talking to the Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis, and I turned to go this way, and all of a sudden, whack! I got hit by one of them. And he threw it so hard I couldn't believe it. But I like being playful with my audience. And yeah, use the stage, be playful on the stage. When you move, if you stand in one spot and you're nervous, it makes you more nervous.
Yeah.
Think of reasons to go to places. Don't just, I love this example. Don't be like this though. Tell me what this feels like if I did this to you.
I'm anxious.
Yeah, it makes you angry because you know what it feels like to me is it reminded me at the zoo, the jaguar that was in the cage that just is walking back and forth, looking at you like it wants to eat you. That's more predator movement. I don't do that.
Or that parent trying to think of that one punishment of what they should do when you fail a grade or something like that.
Right, that could bring up some bad memories.
So when it comes to speaking and also getting engagement with the audience, you gave a great example about throwing those sponge balls out there.
Yeah.
What would you say is the best way of getting engagement from the audience?
The best way.
And keeping their attention throughout a presentation.
I don't know if there's a best way. Each audience is a little bit different. Being a great storyteller, which I'm very much, I'm looking to be one of the best speakers, presenters in the world. That's my goal. I'm nowhere near there yet, but I've created a playful environment for me to get there. Storytelling obviously is one of the big ones. You can even stand perfectly still, arms crossed. If you tell a great visual, vivid story with all the senses and you bring your audience in, you can get them engaged that way. You know, but your energy also impacts your audience. And I'll tell you this super short story. I was doing a training at a training company with my friend, Clinton Swain, and one of the trainers, Frontier Trainings, and one of the trainers he had on stage was Andre Carter. And everyone loved Andre. And so one day I finally asked him, everyone didn't love me. I asked Andre, he said, why do they love you so much? And he said, Chris, I love them. And they go, no, not all of them. Like they're pretty annoying over there, those two guys. And she, I can only handle being around her for about 2 minutes. and he said, no, Chris, I love even them and I love you. I'm like, oh, I guess, yeah, I'm a little annoying too. And so I started to practice loving my audience more. And it feels good when you hit the point where, oh my gosh, I love everyone in front of me, even the difficult people. And the difficult people are usually going through difficult times. Hurt people hurt other people. And so now one of the things I want to go in is have fun with my audience and also love my audience, to give that love energy out there, that I'm there to serve them. They're not there for me. I'm there to serve them as best I can. So I want to uplift them as much as possible.
Now, you've been able to train a lot of people in corporations, other leaders. What have you found as the biggest impact to the employees after your sessions, after your training, that has been able to help the company?
A lot of the big impact comes from this. It depends on, how much time, but if I've done a one-off training, and a lot of my trainings, unfortunately, are one-off, I would love for them, and I need to get better at showing them the big picture, why they need to invite me in more and more, is I've had people come up to me later and go, oh my gosh, I still yes and people. I look to say yes now in ways, and I play exercises where they actually feel it in their body, not just stories. So they feel the power. Like one simple exercise I do with people is the yes, no exercise. Someone tells a 30-second story and the other partner goes, no, 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 no. And I go, notice how you feel the energy. Then they tell the same story and the partner goes, yes, yes, tell me more, yes. And you can feel the energy difference. So you as a person, can you become a more yes person? Mm-hmm. And they take that away because you get them to feel that way. The other one I talk about is a compass question. Are you connecting or are you disconnecting? If as a leader, you just took this one thing away, and here's the way you can do it. And in this moment, ask yourself the question, am I connecting or am I disconnecting? Because when we're connected, it's like you plugged in the vacuum cleaner and it works. If you're disconnected, it's you decided, I want this done, but I'm not unplug it and I want to push this thing around. So plug in your vacuum cleaner, connect with your people. And one of the best ways to do that, ask them how I can connect with you. And look at the list of things that you do that disconnects from people. So erase some of those and add some new ones. Because when people are connected to you, they want to go the extra kilometer or mile, the extra 10 kilometers or 10 miles for you, even when you're not watching them. So that's one of the powerful things that people take away. How do I better connect? And a lot of the lessons I share work just as good at home. And so they play it with their family. How can I say yes to my kids more than all the no's I say to them?
Right. Because
no shuts some people down. No does all kinds of things to different people. So that's just a little bit of that.
Awesome. Now I could talk to you forever about improv because I love that stuff, but we're time short. So anyways, I got two more quick formal questions for you.
Okay.
The first one is, during this whole COVID situation, we're all limited down to virtual, or we have been adopting this and embracing Zoom and Skype and all kinds of stuff. What was the biggest change for you to transfer your on-stage stuff and training into a virtual space?
I don't know what biggest was. I look at this virtual as another improv game. It's another set of rules that I get to play within now. And I say, how is this game, this virtual game, going to make me better? It's going to give me some restrictions that I couldn't do. Obviously, I can't give a high five, or I can't smile into someone's eyes in terms of in person, and you can't throw a ball at me. But what could I get you to do to get immediate feedback? And I want to give my audience power, so I give them power to give me immediate feedback. Mm-hmm. Like I say, if you want to cut my head off, give me 2 thumbs down. And I want to know in the room something I did that upset someone that much. Mm-hmm. So I look at the virtual as a positive to grow me in a different way. Mm-hmm. I don't have to commute. Now, I don't get to getting on a stage and giving energy to your audience and feeling it back. That's one of the coolest things you can do. Mm-hmm. You can get a version of that online with the smiling faces and laughter, but not as much as in person.
Actually, I do have I'm going to add in another question because you have so much energy. Where does that energy come from? Like on a day-to-day basis, how do you wake up? What's your routine to keep that energy and motivation up?
So it's not always up. When I'm with someone amazing like you, Fong, and I can feel your energy. You brought the energy right from the get-go. Mm-hmm. So I can tell you're an amazing human being. Other amazing human beings that are easy to love like you are, I feel your energy, and you feed my energy. I'm here to serve whoever might watch this and serve you in any way I can. So you brought the energy first here. So you actually triggered me. I've been just after meeting before this, and I goes, okay, and I jumped into this fast, a little bit unprepared, and you brought this amazing warm energy, uplifting energy. And I love people like you in my audience. I mean, you are the easy ones to love.
I won't be throwing any balls at you. Don't worry about that.
Throw it. I like it.
So that leads me to my next question, and that is, if you had an opportunity to speak to the entire world, the world's your audience right now, what's that one message you want everybody to remember you for?
Ooh, we touched on it a little bit, if we're going, I love your big question, taking me deep now, is one of the things I talk about, and I try to figure out what was wrong with the world and wrong with myself. And there was a really negative voice in my head. And this one very wise human being said, if someone says something negative to you, you can just walk away. But if you say something negative to yourself, you cannot get away. And I've tried. I've tried, but you can't get away from yourself. I would love the world to bring the unconditional love for themselves. Because when I look at rooms, one of the things I say is point to the most dangerous person in the room to you. It is you. Mm-hmm. You are repeating so many negative things. Now, there's some situations where other people are more dangerous, and I hope you're not in that situation. But what you can do is work on this voice in your head. I'm so blessed. My mom was this amazing human being that shined sunshine into my life, my entire life, almost all the time. And so I channel her voice, what she would say to me, and I channel, now I went from my own worst enemy to my own good friend and greatest champion. So I'd have you love yourself unconditionally because you deserve it. You are whole and complete just as you are. The holes you think that are in you are just imaginary. And I would love for you to experience that and feel that, because when you know and love yourself, you can give infinite love out to the world.
Awesome. Very, very powerful. Great stuff. So that concludes our formal portion of the interview. But before I let you go, I have 5 quick questions for you just for fun. And this is going to be right in your wheelhouse. So number 1, you're being asked to perform an improv event where you could bring 3 other performers with you. 1 is somebody you've always wanted to do improv with. 1 who you think actually needs some improv in their life. And 1 is any fictional character that you could think of. So there's no limits. It could be celebrities, it could be athletes, whatever it is. So 1 who you think is going to be amazing to play with.
Yeah.
The other 1 absolutely needs improv in their life. And third 1 is just some fictional character that you would like to have fun with.
The first one is easy. Stephen Colbert. I love his show. I would love to play with him. He has an improv background. So he is phenomenal out there. Who do I think needs improv? Well, I think the whole world could benefit. Could benefit from improv. Everyone's on their path doing what they do.
You gotta pick 1. That's an easy
way out. I'll pick 1. I was gonna go. Let's see. I'm gonna go with Biden. I want to get around him and be a little playful with him and let go of some of this stuff he has. I support him, but I'm not 100% supportive of some of the things he does and says. I think he would benefit significantly from improv.
Okay.
Fictional character, Batman. He's way too serious.
Good answer. All right. So you have these 3 people in your living room right now. You guys are all prepping for the show, and you're like, wait a minute, they're getting hungry. I need to prep some kind of food, your specialty. What would that be?
Oh, so my specialty, that what I actually make is eggs mixed with a bunch of vegetables. So that would be if I had to cook from them. Otherwise, I'd order pizza in. But I wouldn't order pizza if I want us to perform at our best, because that takes us down a little bit. And Miami makes shake smoothies for all of us. And, I think that I want to say this too. Joe Biden is a phenomenal human being. I would love to add a little improv to his life.
All right. 3rd question is that you are now on the improv show. And the question is, you need to perform something that you've never performed before, a hidden talent. What is that thing that you're able to perform?
That I've never performed before?
Yeah. What is something hidden that you... Very well done.
I've never done that before on stage yet. I will probably do that one day.
There you go. Awesome. Next question. You're being asked to do the game Chrysopoly.
Chrysopoly. Ooh.
All right. What is your boardwalk?
Chrysopoly. Ooh, what is the boardwalk on that? It's a beautiful park somewhere in Chrysopoly that it's kind of like Central Park, but everyone has it. It's just beautiful. Or Vancouver has another beautiful park. Oh my gosh, with the huge trees. I would love that. Actually, the big trees, walking amongst them, you can feel the green, the oxygen in the air is high because of all the trees and going up your nose. You feel alive. You see mountains and you see ocean. So Vancouver is one of my favorite places.
Very nice. And my last question is, what is success like? But give me a number between 1 to 5.
1.
1. How is success like a mud flap?
Sometimes you feel like you're splattered on the mud flap. And sometimes then you go through the wash machine and it cleans you off. I think success is like a mud flap, and the people that made the mud flap can be really successful in terms of monetary, and it adds value to the people that are behind your life. They don't get the mud because your mud flap stops it. So the mud flap adds a service. It helps the people behind them stay on the road and not get cracks and mud on their car. And it helps everyone actually in life a little bit. So success is kind of like a mud flap in so many different ways.
Awesome. Very well done. Thank you very much. If anybody wants to get in touch with you to learn more about improv, to take some of your courses, or even just to pick your brain, what's the best way to reach out?
One of the best ways, chrisnielsen.com. You can check me out there. Let me see if I have one that has there. I do speaker skills play shops as well. You can find me there. And there is my email, chris@chrisnielsen.com. Please send me an email about that. I love sharing what I get to do. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I think it's Christopher A. Nielsen is where I show up on LinkedIn. And then on Facebook, I have a Speaker Skills Plus group there where I train people to be better communicators and have more fun doing it in a playful environment of inevitable success.
Awesome. Great stuff. Any last words from you?
Thank you. You're an amazing interviewer and love your questions and creativity and energy. Like I said, you brought it right from the beginning. So honored to be on your show. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you for your stories, your tips, and thank you for making improv something that should be done in everybody's lives, because it's absolutely lots of fun, lots of energy, and this is very, very enjoyable. So thank you very much for that.
I love that you said that. And I said this, you just inspired this. I say improv is life. Life is improv. No one got your script today. You are playing improv, whether you know it. The recipe I share to yes and people, to listen to them fully, to be present with them and make other people look great. Dare to suck and create a safe environment underneath that. That is more fun to play the game that way. And I encourage you to play the game that way if you so choose.
Great. Now, so we'll end it there. He is Chris Nielsen. My name is Fong, and until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll see you later.